Beautiful. Welcome back, guys. Hopefully you caught us up with us after that short break. So we're going to have another run through of this tune, formerly untitled number 1 in C minor. And, you know, I'll chat about the instruments and tonal choices. I mean, one bit of the feedback of the guy whose tune it is said, I'm not getting quite enough tone off the bass. So straight off the bat, I've just turned the tone knob a little bit further up just to kind of get a little bit more bite on the strings. I think it was sort of around there first off, and I've just gone a little bit further to get some bite for the mix. Okay, so we're going to give it another go. Here we go. I really shouldn't have spilt tea over this. It's terrible. It's really soaking in. Okay, so second take over there. Did a couple of different things, slightly different tone as well. So tried some different choices as well in kind of the geography, using different octaves for different parts. Another thing, just to sew up, is like the end of the tune is sort of an 8-bar, 16-bar in total, 2 lots of 8-bar sections where it rotates in that chromatic sequence. Doom, ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. We got some monitor there. when it rotates around there. And what I'm trying to do in that section is just be able to give it somewhere to go. So start high, and then pedal with the eighth notes, but also, can we take the mic out?
Yeah.
Sorry, chaps. So what I'm trying to do is give it some shape, even though it's two lots of 8 bars, you know, give it some shape for the way out. So it's long sustained notes on the very last time, and I kind of sort of third time through drive it with 8s. Couple of other choices, you know, but all in all, it kind of plays itself once you get into it. Thanks for your comments, guys. We've got one from a Mac out there, so thanks for joining us, Mac, today. Hope you're well. He said, can we try it with slap? So, I mean, some choices, yeah, absolutely. I mean, strings are really old, but we'll give it a go. I mean, what we can do, it's sort of that middle 8, isn't it? You know, you could do the implied feel with a pop and then the thumb on the downbeat. You know, the real cool thing with that, actually, it's got me creative juices flowing, so to speak. You could use like a glissando or a slide up to note. Thank you, Gospel Chops. No, but it's kind of that's a really cool thing. You know, we can play about with it. I mean, I deliberately haven't gone there in all instances, only because this was my first choice of instrument, really, when I heard the track. So, slightly older strings, it's not sort of crisp enough. We may swap over and do some other stuff. But to me, okay, I think of a tune when I listen to it. And a tune takes up 100% sonic space when the mix is sort of finished. And it's like a producer usually has in mind where they want the hook of the tune to be. And it could be anything, you know, a lot of R&B and rap stuff. There might be a jangly guitar sound, you know, think Voodoo album, D'Angelo, Chicken Grease, you know, there's that beautiful 3-3-5 with that great 11th chord. That's a great hook. Of course, Pino's on that, so it's excellent. But think about, I'm really conscious about not filling space or getting in the way of the drums. If you listen to the drum kit, I would say that the complexity of that groove in terms of hits and pops and what have you is taking up quite a chunk. We got some more questions coming through, guys. Fire away.
Also, could you touch on a topic of making suspense, full timing licks, pauses mostly, to create tension? Does that make any sense?
Say it again, mate. Who's it from?
It's from Mac again.
Mac's out there.
Could you touch on a topic of making suspense, full timing licks, pauses mostly, to create tension?
Okay. This is a really cool thing. I mean, I think when we first started streaming, I mentioned about the fact that I was using, or the tune has got a lot of inherent space in it anyway, full time. Let us know where you're from, Mac, as well. It'd be cool to get in touch. And those of you that are joining us, please subscribe, guys, because, you know, we want to do some more of this, and we can only do it with numbers. So we were sort of alluding to the fact that the tune's got a lot of space anyway. Space. 2 notes, hell of a lot of space. So something I use in the recording process to build suspense, you know, and it's not a new trick at all. It's actually used throughout the world of recording. You know, Victor Wooten does some great talks and lectures in his base camp about this with Mr. Wellington. So check those out. But it's about using octave and using the power of the same notes but higher to build tension and space. You know, it's not the fact that the note isn't there, that would be space. It's the fact that I'm playing that note in a higher register to build tension. It's kind of what I did the first take. It sounds menacing, especially sort of palm muted. And there's using the lower notes to actually let it release a bit. If I play it there, it's going to take up more space. It's a bigger sound, it's fuller, it's lower in the register. So one thing you can do, and if you think about those 8 bars in the middle of the tune when I'm playing that, the call and response idea, because it's higher up the octave, it builds suspense. One way you could do it is actually play it the first time round high. Sorry, I'm speeding up. Yeah. And then the second time, play it lower. Yeah. So by doing that, you're actually, the tension's in the first one because it's high. You're adding a bit more weight second time round, and then you're back into the chorus. You know, you're back to the main tune. Building sort of tension out of licks. There was a lick that I put in that I tried to play as far in the pocket as I humanly could without actually coming in late on the next downbeat of beat 1. I can't remember where it is now. I'm just trying to get my space. Yeah, that little lick. So that's in between. Sorry, I'm getting my geography. There. This lick. You know, and trying to. One thing I try and do with licks is especially in a recording situation, give yourself one. Yeah, that's, you know, not a euphemism. That is literally give yourself one lick, but work out the best place for it. Getting involved early doors on just tracking a rhythm track, for example, like we're doing here, is I've got a lot of space, and you know, the player in me wants to fill it. But the reality is, what you want to do is hold back, keep your powder dry, ladies and gents. Find that spot, and usually, through experience, the best place to put them is in the link back to a double chorus or somewhere during the outro, so that you can actually, when the tune's got momentum. There are other tunes out there, don't get me wrong, where the hook is kind of in the bass line. Joss Stone, Fell in Love with a Boy. Great line. And if you listen to the production of that record, the bass is where it's at, you know, and it's kind of all gravitated around that. But in this tune, the lick, besides the call and response, that one. What I did with that to actually create some more tension was say, right, here's my meter, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and let's look at beats 4 to 1. Okay, beat 4, beat 1 in the new bar. What I'm doing, playing as accurately as I can, hopefully, is I'm hitting the downbeats on 1. Yeah, but what I do whenever I play a lick in this instance is I play with the time. I.e., I play it a bit more what we call in the pocket, where I play it later. Yeah, so if I played, yeah, in the pocket, just on the beat. But by playing it in the pocket, listen to how much tension I can kind of give it. We give a click, guys, so just so we can really hear where it's at. Thank you. Oh. And on the beat, yeah, in the pocket. Yeah, so can you hear the difference between that? So in that last take, what I did I played more on that, so that if you think about the finished article when it's mixed, when that lick comes in, everything's, you know, on the downbeats and there's a strong pulse and you're moving to it, and then all of a sudden you're going to hear this, and it'll be like, it doesn't stand out because it's complex, it doesn't stand out because it's louder than the instrument, it stands out because my time is more elastic. Yeah. Tone-wise, I mean, I did a bit more tone on that. I just rolled the tone knob a bit further. It might have been a bit too much. Another thing for this kind of track, which would be great, that I haven't got with me, is just a lump of foam. I mean, I don't know if you know about the early Music Mans, the pre-Ernie Ball versions, and actually the Ernie Ball versions to some extent. They would have, like the old classic jazz basses did, little foam saddles under the bridge so you can vary the amount of damping. Sometimes when I'm tracking, I just chuck a piece of foam. It's actually an old, like, dish thing. And I just stuff it under the bridge to kind of mute it. It's so I can get that kind of tone with little sustain whilst playing fingers, which is really... You know, and you can play it. It's really dirty. So that you know, if time permits, using the foam would certainly help. Got any more comments, guys? Where's Mac from, anyway?
Yes. Well, Mac's from Poland.
Hey, Mac.
He really appreciated that.
Sue, say something to
Introduce Suze, Richie.
We've got a small crew working on audio and visuals, and we got Susie in here. Go on, so give me something Polish to say to Mac.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry. Beautiful.
Right,
Unbelievable.
The next question is from Burak, and he says he's having trouble filling notes right now. Can you give some tips about fillings?
Okay, right. This is a great topic. What's his name? Sorry, Burak.
Yes.
Okay.
Burak.
Burak, good to meet you, man. Thanks for joining us. Tell your friends. Get them to subscribe. Last time I visited, Poland was massive. Okay. Okay. Filling. Okay. So let's strip all this stuff back. It's not about what we have to play, how complicated. Where do we start? Well, first off, there's some massive clues always in music, and your biggest one: what is the key? Okay. What is the key signature of this tune? Well, I know, because I'll bring up my little crib sheet. I haven't got the tea-stained one. I don't know, you got any zoom on there, Suze? Yeah, okay. So we've got the key signature here, bass clef. I mean, biggest clues are the fact that it's in a flat signature, so the one back is the actual tonal centre of this tune, so that is a flat sign on the E line of the stave. So I know I'm in the E flat major, whose relative minor is, what's the sixth note? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, C. So I'm in the key of C minor. So straight away, without doing too much homework, I've already given myself two options. You're going, how the hell? What are those two options? The two options, guys, are the fact that it's either in E flat major or C minor. They're the same thing. Okay, they share the same series of notes, so think of them as one. Do you know what I mean? That's one common misconception with teaching students over the years. It's like, yeah, but it's in G, isn't it? That's in E minor, okay? And it's the same thing. Think of it as the same series of notes. But depending on where you play them, those licks, whether you start them in E flat major in this case or in gravitating around C minor, you can really change the feel of this tune or the sound of your lick. So the first thing I'd think about is let's just look at a simple minor pentatonic, okay? And I said minor pentatonic, so we're going to gravitate around the root note of C. So remember, penta means 5, so it's a 5-note scale. And in this case, it's root note of C, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, and then your last note is the flattened seventh. So listen to it. And then if we go back, we're at the octave, or the root note again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've got that shape there. You can extend it. Okay, well I'm back there. How do I go on again? Okay, so now I've got a different shape up here. Now, doesn't sound like a lick, but it sounds like it fits within the tune. If I play the C minor 7th chord, just voice it here, root, minor 3rd, flattened 7th. Okay, hold that kind of harmony in your head. You can hear all those notes working in it, but it doesn't sound musical yet. Okay, best things are, what are scales? Well, scales are your palette. They're like, you know, I'm not talking Van Gogh, I'm not saying go and cut your ear off. I'm saying scales are colour choices for the musician to make, and that is exactly what that is. Okay, so let's take just the shape. For those of you, if you have got your instrument, go and grab it. So I'm playing the C from the 8th fret E string. Yeah? Got that, Suze? Okay, so let's just play around, right? Let's build a lick. So what I'm going to do is actually play my lick to end on the root note, not start from the root note. Now there's a little trick straight away, is if you start from the root note, where can you go? Well, let's not start from the root note. Let's play a simple, let's just pick 3 notes. 3 notes, okay? There you go, 1, 2, 3. What notes were those? Hang on. F, E flat, C, yeah? So I'm playing like a descending line. Remember, those notes are contained in C minor pentatonic. Let's put it in context. Yeah, so I'm fitting it in. I'm kind of messing about a little bit, some wide vibrato. But there's the lick. Yeah, and because I'm ending on the 1, I'm thinking, okay, where is my chord sequence? What is leading up to that? Well, the chord sequence is that little turnaround from the F minor 7th, B flat, and there's the 1. So we can put it in there. Let's play the whole phrase so you can kind of hear it in your head. Lick. Yeah. So again, and think, why does that stand out? 2 reasons. It's minimal. Second reason is the fact that it's a higher register to the other stuff I played. Well, let's turn it on its head. Let's play the same lick, but lower. Okay, right. So we're up here. Let's do it in 8s. Tension. Yeah. So flip it on its head. It's the same lick, and that's just 3 notes. What else can we do? We can make them more sustained, more so longer in duration. That's kind of a very short lick. Okay, let's extend it. Yeah, there's my lick. So I'm going down, okay, and I'm not changing direction. So if you think about it, where am I going to use this lick? So when I'm higher in the register maybe, or at a point where I've built the tension with higher octaves and I want to descend down for a lick. And the actual lick, think about where we started this whole thing, Dvorak, is we started in C minor. I flipped that pentatonic scale on its head and said its relative major is E flat major. Yeah, and that is the E flat major pentatonic with a little hammer on. There's 2 actually. I'm starting from the 9th, or the note of F. Here's an E flat major pentatonic. Now look at my shape. Let's try it. What's weird about this one is we're not finishing it on the root. Can't fit it in. You have to work out where it is. Give me a sec. I'm just playing about now, sorry. But that, because it's not landing on the root note, it's actually a little bit harder for me to kind of squeeze that in there. That's where it would be. So I kind of play an inversion on the first chord. It's still a C minor, but I'm choosing to play it a C minor over an E flat. That would sound cool. With the bend as well. Yeah, so that's kind of my first starting point with licks, is see how little you can get away with to begin with, and then in your practice routine, see what else you can put in there to expand the harmony. I haven't even approached like what do you call them, passing tones yet. I haven't even squeezed any of that in. But you see now what's happening is suddenly it's turned into me playing licks rather than playing a song. And that's why a great piece of advice is give yourself that one lick, find the place that it fits in the tune. And a lot of that is about instinct. As you're playing, you're kind of getting in the groove, you're feeling it. And music should be a vehicle for expression, guys. So as you play, there comes a time where your confidence just might be buoyed up. You don't hear the click anymore. You're just hearing the tone of the instrument and you're grooving and you're feeling it. That's the time to try a lick, but not the chop you've just been practicing. The chop or the lick that is simple, that is 2 notes, that is 3 notes, but put it a little bit behind the beat, make it lazy, make it stand out. Okay, we're going to have a quick break, guys, and we're going to come straight back to you. Peace.
My suggestion to finish this one is actually just to play it one more time. I've muted it anyway.
Boo-da-boo.
Yeah, my
Boo-da-boo.
I mean, that was great that we had some really, interested people.
That's all right.
The next question is.
Can I just say, what I'd really like to do is to finish it with just playing the tune one more time, but actually saying to them, we're going to try it with your suggestions.
I've definitely got sound.
With the bump,
Yeah.
the sound. Let's just finish it and then we'll do it.
I'll just tune it.
We've got another question.
Go on, far away.
Which is a good one. Just wait for the computer to load. Burak was from Turkey and he said thank you.
Cheers, Burak. Legend.
And I have another one, which is Lusam. Is the bass line that you're playing based on the sound of Motown?
Ooh. Are we still live, mate?
Not live.
Still live.
Oh,
No, we're still live.
No, I thought we were going to come back.
You got audio, Corey?
I've got audio.
Okay, who was that question from, sorry?
Lusam.
Lusam, greetings. Greetings, Lusam. Let us know what part of this beautiful planet you're from, my friend. Thanks for joining us. Okay, was that bass line loosely based on the sound of Motown? Well, Motown, certainly. I mean, you can't not play an old Fender and not be kind of linked to the great Mr. James Jamerson. Certainly, there's I mean, listen to Jameson's lines, guys. Crikey. And if you think about it, what we chatting with Burak and Mac about the licks and stuff, a lot of those great lines are pentatonics, That is a major pentatonic scale, not that Jameson plays that. He plays... And I think, I don't know if this is an urban myth or whatever, but I was chatting with a bass player friend of mine, and we went out for a drink after a gig, and he's a big Jameson nut, so he has a P bass with, flat bands on it, all the thing, and makes a great tone, really, really nice player, lovely guy. And he was going, do you know how he played that? Because Jameson is like the classic one finger wonder, and the stuff he plays, you think, how the hell is he doing that? And that line, My Girl, he actually plays open G string, and look at the interval. But when you listen to the record, it does sound like it's an open string. You can hear the difference between fretted notes and open strings. When you listen to it, you can hear like the overbuzz. So I don't know if that's an urban myth or not, but we talked about it long enough for him to buy me a drink. So that was the most important thing about that evening out. Anyway, back to it. So was it inspired by Motown? I think all music is, to a certain extent. Motown did so much for people. Look at Detroit, Motor City. It really put it on the map. Yes, it was big industrial town, but the players that evolved there, playing on that scene, the actual musical heroes, Berry Gordy, as the driving force behind it. But then that influence into the Western scene, or those coming back east, if you like, across the Atlantic when they did the early tours in the early 60s. They actually came to Bristol, which is not far away from where we are now. The likes of Marvin Gaye, and it had like this explosive effect on an industry that was, our music industry in the UK was then built around blues and rock and roll, things like the Stones, the Beatles, the Animals, the Small Faces. You couldn't get two polar opposites with that far apart, Motown and, the British blues and rock scene. But what that happened was, it was like a melting pot. We're blessed that I'm able to speak with guys from Turkey, from Poland, from all around the world instantly. Back then, it was a case of, well, they're pressing records on the other side of the Atlantic, we're pressing records on the other side of the Atlantic, and it takes sort of a month for those to get shipped, if they get shipped at all. So you've got these insular pockets of music happening, guys? And it wasn't until they physically shipped the guys over here and they started realising just how loud a tambourine could be in a mix, that stuff really started to happen. And, the Beatles, Lennon, McCartney, they're really quoted on saying what an impact that had to their own ideas about production that was then fulfilled by the late, great George Martin. And you know, and look at the sound of the likes of how Mark Ronson in today's industry has risen to fame. He's kind of harked back the early days with Amy Winehouse collaboratively, and that sound of records is the Motown sound, you know. So funny, you think we live in this era where we've got all this great, beautifully clean digital technology, yet you go into a studio and you get an old crusty instrument out, and what do you want to do? You want to try and dirty it up a bit, you know, you want to put it through valve preamps, you want to kind of take your beautiful digital mix and apply a little bit of that valve warmth. And to think that in the day they were recording it in a basement, in a house, in a street is just incredible. And, you know, so I would say that a lot of what I play is influenced by Motown, and I think if bass players answer that one truthfully and honestly, I think every bass player is influenced by Motown in some degree, so therefore the music they play has to. You know, it's about, I think of it as a Motown filter. You can sort of turn it up depending on the situation. So that's cool.
Should we just do the track one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to...
We've got some questions.
Crikey.
No, let's put them on the next one, because
Okay.
we're running out of time. So we need to move on.
We're going to hold the questions for now, guys, but, you know, keep them coming in, and we'll try and do this again soon for you out there. So tell your friends, subscribe. What we're going to do is take kind of the discussion. I'm going to run the track again, and I'm going to try and incorporate some of the ideas from you guys as well as what we're doing. And, you know, I think what we should do is actually post a PDF of the tune up, just the chord chart, so you guys out there can... That was Paul, he tried to put his thumb up but hit it on the table. Zero spatial awareness. Brilliant. So for you guys to sort of download and have a play about with. All right, let's go.